SMT Nation, we back. Nation, we've got updates out of T-Mobile and the other carriers in response to Hurricane Beryl. Let's talk about that here in today's video. Link for the article from the U.S. Sun in the description. Ways to support us can be found there as well. Please do like and share this video, subscribe if you're new here, and turn on the bell notification icon to never miss an upload from the SMT. All right, folks, word on the street is at least being reported at a pretty sizable scale. T-Mobile has been struggling with keeping services available to their customers in response to the hurricane that's impacting a large portion of the state of Texas. Users of the T-Mobile network, their subscribers, customers, are complaining of large-scale outages, reports of not having available signal, whether it's calling, texting, or data. They're basically an SOS. And that's really all that they have access to through, if they have an iPhone now. If they have an Android, then they have nothing. And, there's large-scale power outages, there's cell site failures, there have been large fires. It's a natural disaster of a large scale. So there's all types of complications. Now, through all of this, it looks like Verizon was able to have a pretty available network experience through everything. They've got an ample amount of cells on wheels, generators with diesel, response teams kind of out there keeping things fueled up, and colts and cows and all those things. And I think T-Mobile had those things too in some places to some scale, but I don't think they had enough, and I don't think they were full scale ready for this type of catastrophe and natural disaster. I can't speak to AT&T because I haven't heard any reports yet, but if that becomes something worth note, I'll be sure to make a video for you guys. But it looks like even my personal friends, shout out to Brandon, was able to just buy access to the Verizon network through Visible, and I think he did the Visible Plus thing, and he was able to get service while his T-Mobile service was down. So, this brings up a point that I think people need to understand. And I just want to start and preface this by saying T-Mobile has come a long way. It is rather impressive what they've been able to do over the course of what I would say is like the last 5 or 6 years, but it dates back several years. Dates back to the John Legere era. They've been able to actually create a pretty impressive improvement to their network. It's gotten much larger. The integration with Sprint, the integration with Metro, it's been nothing short of, excellent. I've been very complimentary of those things. But there is no way, shape, or form way to explain it. It is not up to par when it comes to situations like this. We have seen time after time, T-Mobile hasn't been able to hold up under these extreme conditions to something like, say, Verizon. Now, keep in mind, Verizon serves frontline customers. These are first responders. These are agency customers, enterprise and business customers. They have more at stake. There's more on the line. Connectivity is a non-negotiable, and I think those customers are there for that reason. And that's what separates them. It's times like this, so we can compliment T-Mobile all we want, but I think at the same time we have to call it like we see it. A spade is a spade. T-Mobile is going to have to show up under these conditions more often than not. There's just no way around it. You can't be complimentary of this type of situation. It's not easy. It is absolutely not easy to be able to stand up 10 toes down in these types of conditions. It's almost impossible if you think about it. There's so many variables and factors, but the only way to do it is to just simply have all the backup plans, all the redundancy, more than redundant coverage, additional cell sites, more colts, more cows, generators on all sites, non-negotiable. That's what it takes. And they haven't, T-Mobile has some of these things in some places under some circumstances. It's just not to the scale of the other two, I believe. And that's why you see, AT&T with FirstNet, and that's why you see Verizon with Frontline. It's just different, and that's the thing that separates, what I call the big two when it comes to networking, and then, T-Mobile, who's kind of, sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not when it comes to these types of things. I'm not going to pussyfoot around. This is just, an honest evaluation of this particular situation. There have been situations where T-Mobile held up pretty good, and that's commendable. You just got to do it more often than not. It can't be conditional. It needs to be consistent, right? And hopefully the folks of the impacted areas are safe, and they've been able to tough things out, and power's restoring, and they're staying out of harm's way. But that's what some folks have been doing. They've been getting on Verizon's free trials. They've been getting visible and activating quickly and those types of things. I think that's wise to do, and I think that's smart. And maybe it comes a point where you have to reconsider, if I live in an area with adverse weather and situations where maybe my current network provider just doesn't cut it often enough, then maybe you're spending your money in the wrong way. Maybe it's worth your considerations. And I don't tell people where to spend their money. I just think you have to, truly evaluate it from what you need and what you expect from your providers. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. You're the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.